What's shaking, guys? Luke Dancy here, joined with today's very special guest, Mr. Xavier Mortimer. How are you, sir?
Hi, Luke. Thanks for having me. I'm great.
All right. So it's awesome to have you here. I know things are weird in the world right now, and you're not able to do your show on the Las Vegas Strip, but we're definitely going to talk about it and what you've been up to during this strange time, too. So you have been around Las Vegas for how long now?
It's almost 7 years. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you did not start with your own show. Why don't you kind of let the guys know what you did before that and how you launched into your own solo show? Because it's a pretty rad story, man.
Yeah.
It's cool.
It's actually incredible because I think life throws things at you and you just take and you just make choices and that's what is going to guide
Yeah.
what who you are. And this happened to me pretty quickly. I was in France touring with my show. It was a mime and magic show with the Shadows. It was named the Shadow Orchestra. And Cirque du Soleil saw me performing, and they said, "Xavier, we would like to have you as a character in our shows, like doing comedy and magic, silent comedy." And I was like, "Yeah, why not?" I was not expecting anything. And a year after, they called me and say, "We want you to star one of the biggest shows that we're going to produce for Las Vegas, Michael Jackson one." And at this point, that blew my mind. I
Mhm.
First I wanted to stay in France because I had everything built here, but I decided to take the opportunity and just go. But I said I'm gonna sign for 6 months with you guys and go back to France,
Nice.
which never happened. I stayed 3 years in Cirque du Soleil because I was, the Cirque du Soleil is an amazing company to work for, and I had a great time, and I could take this time to build more stuff, being creative, and change my show. Because as magicians, it's you create an act or a show, and it takes like 5 years or 6 years to finally get something, and then you just perform it, and somehow your producer is like, "Oh, do you have something new?" And I'm like, "Nah, I can redo this act. I can change the music of the act." And it was like, no, no, no. He said, "You do it." And then I was like, "Okay, so I'm gonna take a few years with Cirque du Soleil." Um, Working on new stuff, new material. And I met this guy, Alex, who's a producer in town and in Paris. And he said, and I told him my project. I said, I want to go back to France and perform my show in Paris for 3 months because I had everything set up, the theater, the everything. And he said, don't go back to France. Just stay here. You have an opportunity here. You have a city that has millions of tourists every year. Try to open your show here. And he found a room. He found investors. He found people to back us up, to help us, and we opened the show. It was incredible how this was so unexpected. I opened my show in Vegas, and it was rough at the beginning. I would say for 3 months, it was really rough for me. I had to change the language because I used to speak French, obviously, and I had to adapt to the Las Vegas culture. I had to change things, but now I'm looking it back. It's like such a journey. It's amazing.
Love it. And we're just watching the some of the footage for your show, Xavier Mortimer's Magical Dream, which is at Bally's Hotel and Casino when it is open, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna run through this a little bit again because if we can watch some of the visuals on this, the things that you do, you put the art in artist. I've told people that a lot. That when you watch what you do, there's such an artistic flair to it, and sometimes you just levitate with a jump rope. I mean, you do that
Yeah.
too. um, yeah, and let's not forget this winner of Best Magic Show in 2018. I definitely wanted to say that too because that's a big deal as well. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, there's so many good magic shows in town that it makes me be part of something. And I mean, it's just an award, but it means okay, you are something in this town, and that means a lot to me because there's David Copperfield, there's Penn and Teller. There's a lot of people who are extremely good. So
Yeah, as Dave says, there's a lot of competition in Vegas, and isn't that the truth? Very very true. Yeah, but you managed to take it home, and you do it in style. You definitely do it in style, and that's one of my favorites is the hand. That's awesome. I love that stuff. So, it's been fun watching you evolve because I did go to the Michael Jackson show at the Mandalay Bay when you were there. And then it's been fun to watch you evolve into your own show at Bally's. And if you guys end up coming out here later this year or next year when we finally open up the town, Xavier's show is definitely a highlight and should be on your list of must sees for sure. Um, how does it feel, to have a Las Vegas show? Like, does it still feel real to you, or is it still something that you wake up every day and you go, "Is this just a dream?" Get it? Because I'm tying that in with your dream.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it feels it's hard. I would say it's not just a dream. I mean, I don't remember this. I heard that you have to be careful for what you wish for,
Mm,
and having a Vegas show is a dream. It's something. It's an achievement. It's something that I'm very proud of having done that, even if I had to stop today. But it's also, I'm waking up every morning not saying, hey, I'm this headliner in Las Vegas. I'm waking up every morning saying, hey, what's the numbers for today? Hey, what did break yesterday? Is this guy going to show up, or is what issue am I going to run into today? And that's more of what I'm waking up with, to say, okay. But when I look back at night, when I've done the show and I come back home and I'm like, can you imagine? You have your house in Vegas and you have your show, and this is amazing. So it's a lot of work, and you have to be prepared to, if you want that. You have to be strong.
absolutely. And I mean, you put it well. As people always say, be careful what you wish for. I mean, it sounds sexy, it sounds glamorous, but it is work. It's hard work, right? I mean,
It is. It is. You
uh,
can't, it doesn't happen like that. And I have to say, even in Cirque du Soleil, even when we were in the creation, it's so difficult that many times I looked at the flight back to France, like many times.
mhm.
I was like, it's never going to work for me. I will never make it, and I lost. And then the next day you wake up and you say, no, I can't. I didn't go that far to give up, and I will make it happen.
Yeah, and you sure have. And it's been unfortunate with what's been going on, with this pandemic and everything. But I definitely think that you have definitely found a way to make the best of it by going online. We're online right now. We're chatting. We're talking, which I usually probably wouldn't be able to do because you wouldn't have the time.
Yeah.
But your magic has started going viral all over Facebook and the internet. It's been really fun to watch, and I've got some of my favorite clips of yours to show as well. Why don't you talk about that? I wouldn't call it a transition, but why don't you talk about what it's like now to have the time to do that? And sincerely, are you enjoying doing this social media stuff now? Because I think you are, but
Yeah. Yeah.
creatively, does it satisfy you?
Yeah, I would say I would never do it if I didn't enjoy it. I looked at social media for a long time as the black beast, and something that I didn't like, that was not as how to say, how as classy as having a show. I'm a live performer, and I want to perform live. I want to get the audience into an experience.
Hmm.
But recently, I've been trying to get into social media because I felt left behind, and I thought that wouldn't hurt to try and expand. And I learned all these things, and I tried, and so many videos that I produced were awful. And somehow, at some point, I found something. I found an idea where this guy. There's many concepts, but I found the concept of this guy just going around and do magic, and it worked, and some video hits. And I think when you have a video that hits, like I got 10 million views on one video, I was like, wow, there's something here. Not only I'm having fun doing those videos, but people seem to like it. So let's try to dig a little bit more in this concept and see what I can do.
Sure.
And I wrote every day. I've been writing things. I've been trying to put ideas together. Like 90% of the ideas don't work at all, and some of them make it to a video. And among this 10%, there's like maybe half of them that are like really hits, which is already good. But I'm having fun creatively. I don't want to be a social media person. I don't want to be this a social media figure. I wanna sell tickets to my show, and I want
Yep.
bring people into an experience, which is my live show. But I have to say, social media is a great way to create because it's different than stage, and you have to tackle it totally different. It has nothing to do with the stage, and that's why it's interesting because it brings something new and it brings a new way to do magic.
Well said. And I wanted to ask you, did I hear that right? Did you say 10 million views on one of your videos? 10 million?
No, I had more recently. The video that you're showing, I think you got it on Facebook, had 55 million views.
Wait. Say that again.
55,
Oh,
maybe 54
God.
million views. I'm not sure. The numbers goes up every day, so this,
Wow.
yeah,
That is crazy. So how are you coming up with this stuff? Because I've seen you working on this, putting up content pretty consistently. How are you
yeah,
doing this, man? It's crazy.
yeah. So it started before this thing. The show closed. It started already. I The show went a little more stable, and I was like, okay, so now I can spend some time of my day doing something else. What I did is I wake up every day and I spend like an hour or two, like just writing ideas, just putting things together, on just throwing them on a white paper, and say, okay, does that work? Does that not work? Sometimes I can open books and find old tricks that you could, recycle, or
Yep.
do something different with it. And somehow you find some things, and then when I think I have a thread, I go into it and I develop it. Like this Magic in Public one was very successful from the start. The first video, we went to Starbucks, and I did this thing with the lid of the cup
Mm-hmm.
that went like flying into the cup, and then this thing, I just exited. I'm not presenting any magic. I'm just this guy going around and doing magic, like if he was caught on camera, and it was instant. It got 10 million views in 2 days.
Wow.
I was like, wow, that works. And then, how can I develop this system? I'm gonna go to the fast food, and then it's like a little bit Xavier at the fast food and Xavier at the parking. So you have this little vignettes that's very good for creativity. And then because everything closed, I had to stay at home. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do magic to my girlfriend. So I created a concept that was, my boyfriend is a magician, so basically it's my girlfriend asking me for, can you fix this and can you fix that? And yeah, that's the video. Having fun at home. So, and you put all the ideas, and yeah, I have to tell you, so many ideas didn't work, and we spent time doing and redoing a video. Yeah, you have to be ready to spend time. The salt one was pretty.
That's
We
cool.
did a lot of take on this one, but there's no camera trick, and that's like a lot of people think there is, but it's all done like smoothly with the camera.
That was a question someone had. Ellis Cohen said, "Are they camera tricks?" So obviously you just
No,
answered that, so that is good. Um,
no. There's okay. I'm gonna be honest. There's camera angles.
yep.
There could be some hiding stuff behind something and threads and stuff. But I mean, I don't have magical powers. I'm just a magician, so of course I have to hide my stuff. I have to conceal it the way. But saying that, there's not a single video here that you will see that has been cut to make something appear in my hand, or there's not a single thing that has been erased. It's just been performed this way to the camera, and it
Yep.
happens that the camera doesn't see it. It doesn't mean I'm going to do that on stage, because the principles that I'm using for that are not good for the stage. I'm using black arts on stage. I'm using lights and stuff to hide things. And here I'm using the camera, so it's just a different way of doing it. But the magic is performed live. And you know what? If I was doing a camera trick, it wouldn't look as good as it looks here.
Well said. And I definitely think what you're saying is very valid too, because just like a stage magician, which you are, you have a stage show, you take advantage of the lighting, you can take advantage of the stage and everything. So when you're doing magic like this, you're able to take advantage of the medium as well. And I mean, as a magician, that's kind of our job, to hide the work and make it work. So yeah, for what it's worth, I mean, it all makes sense. And the only people that really care about that stuff, Xavier, as you know, are magicians. They're the only ones that care about that anyway. So that's not your audience, you know?
No, yeah, and that's another thing. I love magic. I'm an aficionado, and I love the techniques, and I love see someone finding a new way to change a card. But I know that the audience, the regular audience, they are not into that like we are. So
Mhm.
I'm trying to speak to random persons by doing something more, how to say, like in the life of everyday life, something that touches people. Everyone's gone to Walmart and everyone had a pack of gum in their hands. So why don't you turn the pack of gum in money and you pay with that? And that's funny because there's something that people relate to.
Mhm.
And when I do my card tricks, maybe people will not relate to as much as that. And this is the way that I want to carry the magic and make magic happen into the life of people. And the next time they go to Walmart and they see the gums by the side of the corner, they're going to be, oh, I saw this guy. He was turning the gums into money. And,
Yep, yep. They will definitely remember that that is the guy. And it's fun watching you, especially with the compilation, all these different places that you were going and doing magic. It was fun to see the variety of stuff too. You weren't just doing one thing; you were mixing it up all the time, which was cool. I'm gonna look through the chat real quick to see if the guys had any questions. So if you guys do, we've got Xavier for about another 10 minutes or so. So here's a good question from Mark Wybrow over on Facebook. He says, how do you get your ideas from, and who inspired you? So maybe it's even from the early days of you getting into magic. What type of
yeah.
things did inspire you? And these days, what inspires you now? So kind of two questions in one.
Yeah, I have three big inspirations that I always say. I mean, there's more to be real. There's so many people that inspire me. There's even, like I told you before we started this thing, you release the trick and I'm inspired by it because you do something and it inspires me. So inspiration is everywhere. But I would say the very first inspiration is Charlie Chaplin. When I was a kid, I was in love with what he did. This guy who's just a random guy doing some stuff in the street and
Mhm.
having trouble and falling in love and being this guy who's tortured by life and by people around him. I love that kind of comedy when this guy is just like this little guy that's running around. Buster Keaton was a big one too. But anyways, that's one of the inspiration, and that's why I like this guy going around doing magic and magic happening to him too. There's a big inspiration for me was David Copperfield, of course, because he was telling stories, and I loved when he was making sense of things that he was doing. I this is the early days of David Copperfield. There was a lot of things that were directed like if it was a movie, and I loved us. And more recent artist who inspired me a lot was Arturo Brachetti. He's an Italian guy who does a quick change. Same thing. He does a lot of storytelling in what he does. He's huge in Europe, not here, unfortunately, because he's a great artist. But he's very big in Europe, and he was a great inspiration. But there's so many people and so many names, and that inspire me every day. I go see Jeff McBride, and he inspires me because he has all this knowledge. I see Penn and Teller, and they inspire me because they have their way to do things. Anybody who's building something in magic can be an inspiration.
Well said. Well said. I'm going to hang it right there. That is winner of Best Magic Show 2018. That is something you will never get tired of seeing, I'm sure.
Uh,
um, yeah. Yeah. This is a nice comment from Corey, who I know is a mutual friend of ours. Corey says, I love how you hang out and meet and greet everyone after every single show. And that does say a lot about you as an artist, that you still care. You have a Vegas show, you could just wrap it up and go home, but you decide to stick around and chat with people. So that's cool. That's very
Yeah,
cool.
I think it's an experience you have to offer to the audience. I think it's part of the experience, and I have to be honest, I'm not the only one. Penn and Teller do that at their show too. They just go out and I think people want that. They see someone on stage, they want to have a part of it. It's important for them because you're not this like figure or whatever. That I think it's good for them to bring something back home and talk to the artist.
Well said. And it definitely humanizes you and makes that connection that a lot of shows miss. There's that disconnect, but you're definitely right there, which is cool.
Uh-huh.
Um, Speaking of differences in other artists and other fields, people doing meet and greets or not, here's a question from Eric that's different. He wants to know what's the main difference between the U.S. audience and the French audience, or maybe the European audience is kind of all grouped together. Are there some big differences in the audiences, or is it kind of the same? You know?
Yeah, I mean the culture is slightly different, but it's visual. We do visual stuff. So if I was a country singer, I would say yes, definitely, because in Europe people wouldn't understand what I'm doing. But magic, it's kind of international. You have different reactions. You have different things that hit. There's one thing that I noticed. Europe has a huge thing for silent comedy and visual comedy, circus, and that's why I mean you know it because Cirque du Soleil and all this thing they come from that little roots that is France and Europe in general. We have a lot of street theater festival where shows are silent and you just show some visuals comedy. So here in America, to you have to speak a little more. I would say stand-up comedy is huge here, where in Europe it's a little less. I mean, it is still huge, but yeah, I'd say it's the main difference. Why? Because in Europe we have like 25 or 26 languages, and here you have one, so it's easy to make everyone laugh with just a joke. Then in Europe, people used to travel, circus used to travel all around Europe. So what are you going to tell to Italian people when you speak German only? So, so we do silent comedy as a result of that.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It totally makes sense. We are just a one language country, and over there, it's a huge. You just
Yeah,
never know. You never know what you're going to get.
yeah.
That's true. What are your plans? You know, you're on the Vegas Strip. I always like to ask people this because obviously you came here, you were doing stuff with Cirque du Soleil. You then converted over and you ended up doing your own one man show. Maybe one day, do you have plans of doing like your own touring show, or are you comfortable staying in one spot like Las Vegas? You know?
So touring show is actually happening. We have
Cool.
had our first touring date
Okay.
uh, just before the lockdown in Arizona, in Surprise, Arizona. And we were about to book a full tour for 2021, but right now it's kind of like everyone's staying at home, so the theaters are a little bit cold into booking tours for now. But
Sure.
yes, 2021 or 2022, if depending on how the situation evolves, we're going to go on tour in the US, and also when the US tour is done, I'm going to go on tour a little back in Europe for
Cool.
because I want to go back somehow sometimes. But Vegas is going to be probably the main place where I'm going to stay.
Cool. Very good. I'm glad to hear that. As a Vegas local, I'm glad to hear that you want to stay here. That's good.
It's
um,
fine. It's
yeah,
sunny.
it is sunny and it gets a little hot, but you know, if you can deal with that, you're good. Got a question from another full time performer, someone that a lot of people are familiar with, Dan White. Dan White is out here.
Oh,
Um,
hi.
Dan wants to know, how did you get Cirque du Soleil to build a show for you? So it wasn't necessarily Cirque that built the show. You kind of
No.
branched off and did your own thing. But what about
Yeah,
that connection? How did you get involved with Cirque du Soleil? I guess is the thing to let
so
them, you know.
they saw me a long time ago, and they offered me to go with them on tour, and I refused because they wanted me to do a part of someone who was the pickpocket in Kusa, I think was the show.
Okay.
And I had my own show, but then they called me back and they say, "Would you want to be one of the main characters in the big show in Vegas?" I was like, "Okay,
Why not?
that's something, you know." So they didn't build a show for me. I was part of the show and I was building the show with them, because this is how it works in Cirque du Soleil. You go into a show and they write things, but ultimately it's what you do on stage. And I remember so many times we were on set and everyone was like, "Okay, what do we do here?" And I took a hat and I did this little thing with the hat. I don't know if you do when you have the hat and you put it on your head and it jumps.
Hmm.
And that was the Michael Jackson hat, you know, and everyone was like, "Wow, that's cool. Okay, can we keep it? Okay, sure." And then same thing for the dancing cane. They had this huge mic, you know, the old school mics
Yep.
used by Presley, and they say Michael Jackson was really in love with this mic. I was like, oh, I can do a dancing cane. And the director was like, show me. I was like, I can't. Give me a thread and I'm going to show you. And I came back like the next day with a piece of balsa and a thread, and I showed that I could do that with a mic. It took a little bit of research to have the top, molded and very light, but I did it, and everyone's like, yeah, sure, that works. Let's put it in the show. So this is how it's very organic the way they build things. But then when I exit Cirque du Soleil, I built my own show. So Cirque du Soleil had nothing to do, even though they were supporting the idea and always been behind me and helping out with things. It's my venture now.
Sweet. One little clip in here was from the America's Got Talent. I know it's a long story, Xavier. I know we're running out of time, but do you want to talk briefly about your experience on America's Got Talent? Because I know that it's such a huge show, and as an artist, I've heard mixed stories about some people feel like they're forced to do things they don't really want to do, or they have to say things. Not to go into too many details, but how was your America's Got Talent experience, and maybe some advice for people that have thought about going on there.
It's I first I was on France Got Talent. I was on the top 10 of France Got Talent.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I went to America's Got Talent, because I was like, oh, okay, works for me, and I want to go to America's Got Talent. But America's Got Talent didn't go as well for me. They cut me pretty quickly. It's a fine line, because you want to do something that you like, but also the producer have the eye and they want to do something. So you're kind of in between two chairs where you're like, yeah, but if I do that, this is my best act. And what if I do the other act that they want me to do is not my best act, but at the same time, I'm going to be going along with them. So they might push me for another round. I don't think there's any explanation. There's no recipe. It's just like, go do it. And I think it's worth doing it anyways. That's what I think. I think if I had to redo it, I would redo it, because it's TV, it's exposure, it's people seeing you, and it's also a good way to work on your acts, because I remember on both shows, France Got Talent and America's Got Talent, I had to rebuild my acts. Most of my acts were like 4 or 5 minutes long, and I had to cut them and say, okay, what's going to work on that show? Does it make sense if I do that on TV? And at the end of the day, I ended up with an act that was better than the one that I started with.
Gotcha. Okay. So it's good to hear, though, that if you had to do it again, you would do it again. So that's good to hear.
Yeah, I would. It's anything. TV is good. Sure. It's good for you to be on TV anyways. I mean, yeah, it can be dangerous, but
yeah, I mean, the exposure alone has got to be worth it. I mean, you're being seen by millions and millions of people. You want to get people in the seats of your show, so it makes sense. Yeah, it makes total sense. Yeah.
It's like social media. When I started those videos, like, oh, people are going to think I'm doing stupid stuff, and and the stupid stuff didn't get out, because of course I can do stupid stuff. I'm human, but the stupid stuff didn't get seen. So at the end of the day, I kind of managed to. It's just the creative exercise that
Sure.
that is interesting.
Right on. I'm going to tee up one last question for you. I know I told you we go between 30 and 45 minutes, and we're pushing we're a little over the 30-minute mark. I wanted to ask you that if you had a word of advice for someone that wants to do what you do, which is to have a Las Vegas show and do what you love for a living. There's people watching from all over the world, different skill levels. Some are just beginning magic, some have been in it for a while and want to do what you do. What type of advice would you share with people that really, really love magic and want to be able to make a show out of their own material and their own routines and have full control over their show, like their show? That's what they want, to have their show. What kind of advice would you share?
Well, it's first I have to say it's not an advice, but I have to say it's an extremely long process, and I'm not the only one who has been through that. You have to find yourself. You have to be yourself on stage. You have to find your own way of doing magic first, because if you just another guy who pushes boxes, I don't think people are going to like make the difference between you and someone else. So that's the artistic view first. So once you have developed this whole thing, I would say tour it a little bit everywhere, wherever you can, like 1 or 2 years. make the things like solid, you know. So when you present on your audience in Vegas, the jokes are solid. When you have this solid show, when you have your own way of doing things, and that your own way of doing things is pretty strong, then this is why you can start having the not fun part, which is going every day for 2 years without filling a seat. Like you're gonna have 30 people, 40 people, 50 people, and somehow it's gonna hit, because it took me, I'd say, a year and a half to start to break even and make my show profitable and successful in Vegas. And it was kind of short because it can take more than that. Not a lot of overhead, not a lot of like, don't ask anything, just go on stage, do your thing. Uh, and eventually, after a while, when you see the brokers every day, when you promote your show, when you do all these things, it's going to pay off.
Well
I'd
said.
say it's a long term thing. It's not like social media is instant. You put a video online, and maybe it's gonna hit. And if you hit, you have 10 million views in like no time. And when you're in a Vegas show, you have to build your show and stay. I think I started to see the real result of me being recognized as a Vegas performer, as someone from the city, after like 2 years and a half, 3 years almost, you know, like people were like, oh wow, this guy, you know, this guy, yeah, yeah, and the big names, you know. So yeah, it's a long run. Don't give up.
Well said.
Don't give up.
Well said. And I'm so glad you said all of that, and the last part especially. But especially these days with people seeing social media, being able to connect with people quickly through social media or the online world, they feel like that's the shortcut to success. And what you just said is a Las Vegas headliner. It doesn't happen quickly. It takes time. So be willing to go. It's like the old saying goes, get ready for the marathon, not the sprint. It's a long
Oh,
process, but there you go. You know.
definitely. And also, you can think you are anybody, you are nobody. And that's something that you have to learn when you're in Vegas, because even if you have millions of followers online, you are nobody in Vegas. You have to start over from scratch, because because the people haven't seen you. I've seen big names failing in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And why? Because they thought they were big names and they thought they would fill up the room. And that is not the truth, because they were starting like everybody from the beginning with nothing. And it takes 1 year and a half to get the people inside the room, to get the brokers, because the brokers are the main source of ticket selling. Because I mean, half of the people come from abroad. They've not heard about most of the magicians. They just say, "Hey, we would like to see a magic show. What would you recommend?" And then that's when the people have to recommend you.
Yeah, well said. And that's a very important note, is that the Las Vegas, the people that come here, they're tourists from all over the world.
Yeah,
So it's a much different audience than just people here in the States. Absolutely. I wanted to share one more. There's been a lot of people, by the way, saying that your show was the best experience in Vegas. Christian Langbell just said my best experience in Vegas was seeing Magical Dream.
so
And
much.
several other people saying that your show, Travis Nye says he enjoyed your show more than any other while he was in Vegas. So
Thank
some nice love for
you.
you out there too. And someone was asking, uh, why is it that the most creative people, why do I always get to talk to them the shortest amount of time? It's because they're busy. Just like Xavier, he's got stuff to do today. He's got videos to do, and he's got creative projects going on. So that's why, Mark. I saw him asking that. So
We can do another live if you want later. No problem.
awesome, man. Well, for now, though, I will let you go. I promised you 30 to 45 minutes, and we're hitting that mark. So I will let you go ahead and get out of here with my thanks for hanging out and doing this. And looking forward to keeping up with you even after this when you're back to the live show. But if people do want to
Yeah.
see you on Facebook or on YouTube or wherever, how can they see more of your videos that you are putting out? I want to get that out there too.
I just type Xavier Mortimer on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, blah blah blah, everything. You'll find my network, and I'm publishing things regularly. We're going to film 3 more videos today,
Okay.
and one I'm very excited about. It's about baseball.
Oh, fun. All right, cool. So there you go, guys. More content coming from this guy. And coming up in just a second, I've got your exclusive look at the brand new Jerry's Nugget playing cards. So with that said, Xavier Mortimer, I'm going to wish you well, my friend, and thank you so much for hanging out with us,
Thank,
man. Don't be a
thank you.
stranger, okay?
Here. Bye.
Cool. Thanks again. All right, guys, that is my chat with the one and only Xavier Mortimer, a Las Vegas headliner, right here for you guys. Hope you enjoyed that. Now is the time you've been waiting for. I've got your exclusive look at the brand new Jerry's Nugget playing cards. It's not just one deck. It's not just two decks. It is three decks. And here it comes. I know you've been waiting patiently. Here is your very first look at these. Brand new, just hit our warehouse today. Brand spanking new. These are the three new colors that just dropped. I'm looking at some messages from my team here so I can see exactly what I can tell you. The paper that's used to print these is actually limited. So we're not saying that the decks are limited, but the type of material that's used to make the decks is actually pretty limited because it's a special type of paper that they're using. Because these are the vintage fill decks, so it's a vintage stock. So it's going to be not a limited run of cards, but when the paper's gone, these are gone. So I can tell you that it is a vintage fill. I can't give you any details on when these are released yet, but I can tell you that the paper that's used to print these is limited. So that is one picture. I have another one for you here. That's the other picture, a little closer look for you. Let me see if there's any other details I can share with you. That is the other picture here that I can share, and I think that is what I can show you for now. So there we go, and we'll have more pictures and more assets coming out soon to share with you. But there you go, my friends. You've been waiting patiently since this morning. I teed it up. And there you go, your exclusive look at the brand new Jerry's Nugget playing cards. Dropping sometime soon. As always, keep your eye out on our socials. Keep an eye out, and we will make sure to keep you updated on all the stuff that's going on, just like this and other guests that we have coming up. And if you want to, if you've never done this before, say the word live. Just say live in the comments, and I will hook you up and make sure that when we do go live, you get hit up with a notification that we're live. And all you have to do is click a button and it brings you right here to us. So do that now if you haven't before. Say the word live and I will take care of you. And as a special bonus, everyone today that has liked and commented on this video is automatically entered to win a free download of your choice from our At the Table series. I'll pick one winner after this. I will tag you in the comments. So we do live giveaways every week too. So if you haven't yet, go ahead and drop a like on this video and comment something in the comments here. Maybe tell us what you think of the new decks that are coming out, the Jerry's Nuggets, and you are entered to win a free download. I'll announce the winner here in a couple hours. I'll go through, I'll look at the comments, and I will give you guys a free download from our At the Table series. So Gary Nealon just did it. He just dropped a like on this. So if you haven't done it yet, drop a like and post a comment, and I will go through and I will take care of you guys and hook you up with some free stuff. Because I know you're stuck at home, a lot of you, and I know that you probably want to learn some free stuff. There's Daniel Ricks. He liked to stream. If you haven't done it, go ahead and do it. Here's your look one more time with the brand new Jerry's Nuggets popping out. 3 new decks. Again, I don't have a release date for you at this time, but I do have an exclusive look that you haven't seen anywhere else. These hit our warehouse literally this morning. I was drinking my coffee. They're like, Luke, you won't believe it. You won't believe it. They're here. There they are. There they are. All right. Hope you enjoyed that look. Also, hope you enjoyed our interview today with the one and only Mr. Xavier Mortimer. If you've never joined us before, in the comments, also let me know where you're watching from. And more importantly, make sure you do turn on the live notifications for our page. I'll do random pop-ups sometimes with some live stuff to give you updates and other things. So if you just joining us for the first time, make sure you do that as well, okay? So my name is Luke Dancy, coming to you guys from Las Vegas. I bring you brand new stuff each and every Wednesday at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern time. So if you just joined us for the first time, don't be a stranger. I'd love to see you again. All right? Cool. Thank you again to Xavier Mortimer for his time, answering some good questions out there. You guys had some good ones out there today. And also to you guys. Thank you for hanging out. Support and the feedback, we appreciate it. If you guys weren't here, I'd be talking to nobody, and that's no fun. That's no fun at all. I see a lot of you guys out there dropping live in the comments. Again, if you haven't done it yet, it's just that easy. Say live. I will make the magic happen after that. Got people out there watching from Denmark. What's up? Nice. That's awesome, dude. I got Dave out there. All right. Ryan's digging on the yellow. And I got Timo out there liking the stream. Appreciate you, Timo. All you guys out there, appreciate you. Great show. This was a fun one. Thanks to Xavier Mortimer. Oh, yes. Timo, all right. Luke, you make my week. Wow, man. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I do my best, especially during these weird times to bring some positivity, bring some fun to you, and keep things on a lighter note with all the strange stuff going on out there in the world. So thanks. All right, and Avi Yap, this guy, you wait. He's got some big stuff coming soon. Can't wait to show it to you. All right, my friends. Jason's digging on the silvers. Yes. There's some great stuff coming down the pipe, guys. I can't wait to show you more and more of it as we go on. What's up, Xeon Steel? What's up, buddy? Good to see you out there. All right, cool. And there it is one more time. Third time's a charm. New Jerry's, not cherries, but new Jerry's. 3 new decks coming to you very soon from your favorite magic shops. There they are. All right. And there's one more look. A little different angle for you. There we go. All right, cool. Sweet stuff. All right, guys. So that is that. If you want to be entered to win a free at the table lecture, all you need to do, again, drop a like and comment. It's that easy. It really is that easy. And I'm announcing our Instagram winner for the Avi Yap download in about another hour or two. So a lot of fun stuff going on our socials. So don't be a stranger out there. Connect with us. We would love to hear from you. All right. So that is it. Leon out there from the Netherlands. Good to see you, my friend. Leon is crazy good too. A lot of talented people out there. David says, great having you here on my desktop. Hey, it's good to be there. All right. Jeffrey Tam out there. What's up, my brother? Good to see you too. Just wrapping things up here, but you can catch us with the replay if you want to watch that. All right. Cool. Appreciate you, Mark, out there. I saw you liking this. Appreciate you out there, Mark. So that's it, guys. I know I'm rambling here. I'm going to cut it short now. That's it. Thank you again to the one and only Xavier Mortimer. He is awesome. Check him out if you do come to Vegas. I know you'll be back after all this is over. Vegas will open up. Shows will go on. It will be fun. Good times are coming right around the corner. And everything going on right now would just be a memory. All right, guys. That is that. Thank you for hanging out. And I will catch you next time. See ya.